Hi, everyone. This is Yael. And one of the things that I've become super aware of in the past few months is how much we're all using our screens. And so we're all perpetually looking down in what I call Schlumpasana. And you could see, like, even if I'm just like this, there's a real sense of depression and of uh, not being able to see the future just in my physical posture. So a lot of times what people do when they notice that they're in Schlumpasana is they try to just push their shoulders back, and then they round up hurting themselves. So there's many different ways to just gently open up through the front of the body and to take away some of the pain that's caused by this downward looking gaze in both the neck and the shoulders. An easy way is just to use a couple of tennis balls and a sock. So 2 tennis balls, 1 sock. Mine happens to be a tube sock, but you don't, it could be any, and if it's your own sock, that's awesome. And you just kind of shove the tennis balls in there all the way. And you get them nice and close together. And then we're just gonna knot them up. You know, I tend to use tennis balls just because they're cheap. You can get them by the dozen even. There are kind of fancier versions of the same thing. This is called 4-core. And a couple of my own yoga students gave me a set, which included this. And this is made of silicone. So this is gonna be a little bit harder than the tennis ball, but the tennis balls will work equally as well. And we're going to do a little self-directed myofascial release. And so I'm just going to tell you first the points that we're going to work on. And we're going to do this all on the floor, but just so that you can see close up, the first point we're going to work on is if you feel right to the underside of your skull, there's this ridge called the occipital ridge or the occiput. And we're basically, the first part where we're going to put the 2 balls are right there. And then we're going to come somewhere along the very upper portion of the back. And then the third part is going to be, I sort of think of it as the base of the bra line. So the base of the shoulder blades. And often just by doing those 3 points, you can definitely release tension. It's also good for headaches, by the way. If you also, it's here in DC where I'm filming, it's been a hot and humid summer, and sometimes that humidity can also cause all sorts of migraines and tension headaches. So this would be a good protocol to use. So let's get started. So I said the word myofascial release. Myo means muscle, and fascial is essentially a connective tissue that is all over the body. So also you might find that even just doing what we're doing here in the upper part of the body, it can affect all the way down the back. And so you would just need to find a comfortable place to lie down. You don't need a yoga mat. I tend to do this at night in my bedroom, which is carpeted, just to give it a little bit of softness. And we're gonna take the tennis balls just right to that ridge. Now, I'm gonna keep my legs bent, but you're welcome to take them out straight or in butterfly, really anything that works well. And just one little tip here is think about making, it's not a very attractive look, but if you think about pressing your chin back and make a little bit of a double chin, that will usually help. And you can also just apply as much pressure on the tennis ball as feels good. And some people, when there's sort of these knotted areas or areas of tension, you might even feel a little bit of pain here. These can be known as trigger points. And they're points, according to some theories, there are areas where there's toxins that have accumulated Another technique that you can use, which you might be able to see me doing, it's quite a subtle move, is I'm just going to gently rock my head from side to side. So I'm just going to the right and to the left. I could also literally just move my head along the tennis ball. And what I'm looking for is a point that feels a little tender. My stock line is tender, but not traumatic. If it's too painful, you're not going to be able to stay in this. And then once you find something that feels good enough, I just caught myself, I was like bracing my belly. So soften the belly, maybe soften the arms. You could even turn your palms out to the side. And that might be a nice way of reminding the body that you're safe, that all is well. And you could also soften the face a little bit, even put a small smile, nothing too perky, just like Mona Lisa, perhaps. And honestly, you could stay here for as long as you want. I think to get real benefit, you'd want to be here for at least 2, 3, 4 minutes. But if you are feeling there's times when I just feel so much tension around my neck, and even though the ball's not on my neck, it's at a very key area. And so sometimes just even staying for 10 minutes while working on finding a smooth and steady breath, and at the same time working to soften the body, can be really beneficial. Just in the interest of keeping this video less than 45 minutes for 3 spots. I'm gonna stop right here, right? So I'm just gonna allow the tennis balls to come out. And even just doing that for a short period of time, I almost feel like my head's been able to go back. I'm not quite as forward headed as I was before. It feels quite lovely. And so I'm going to go to the next spot. And remember that the next spot is somewhere pretty high up on the shoulders. And this spot can be a little bit tricky. I'm going to, again, keep my legs bent so that I could kind of go a little bit up and down until I find that good point. One of the things that I'm realizing is that a little blanket folded up under my head would give me a little bit more support. So I'm going to grab that blanket, come as high up in my upper back. And again, you could sort of use your heels to press yourself a little bit up and down until you find just that perfect point. And then once you do, we're just gonna, again, just relax everything. So there's ways of doing this with one ball. With the 2 balls, the way that we have it, it's really quite safe because where your spine is the space between the balls. So the balls are getting into those little muscles that surround the spine. I might even, while I'm here, come to what in yoga and yoga nidra is known as the inner resource. So I might think about a place that I love. And since I'm on my back, I might even consider a beach, imagining that I was underneath the shade of a big old tree. letting any tension melt. And this was quite an intense spot for me at first when I first started. But one thing that happens is as you relax the whole body, the musculature right where the tennis balls are will also start to release. And again, you'd want to do minimum 2 to 4 minutes, I would say. We're not going to do quite that long. Cats love myofascial release. This is Clarabelle, who adopted me when she was a kitten who lived in the alley behind my apartment, and she's now 16. And quite delighted when I get down to her level. Everything really soft. Okay. And you could, of course, just kind of roll the tennis balls down. I'm gonna take the tennis balls in one hand and just come on out. And again, it's so that I can get a sense of the before and after. I really here I'm also feeling a lovely release. So that was the second point. The third point we're gonna work on is just at about the base of the shoulder blades, about the bra line. And whenever I say bra line, I'm always aware that men do those. I've been assured by even my gay male students that they know exactly where the bra line is. So I hope it's okay that I'm using that to tell you the anatomy of your body. So you'll notice that by putting the tennis balls here, it's essentially the area right behind the sternum. So I'm also allowing for this really lovely heart opening pose. And here I have my legs straight, but you don't have to. You could continue to have bent legs, anything that feels good. I immediately found a place that was tender, but it might take you a breath or two to find that, and then we'll just relax here. You might also notice, as I am in my own body, that there might be little twitches. My toes are sort of twitching a little bit. There might be little shakes. I really believe this is the body's way of releasing tension and stress. So don't be too concerned if the body just starts moving on its own as you soften and open into what is most needed in the moment. Where you notice especially complete exhales is also probably where tension has been released. And so I'm gonna just move the tennis balls out of the way completely And just really, I can notice a huge difference along that entire back body, in my neck and in my shoulders. And you just come out of it by coming into fetal position. I normally would have rolled towards the camera, but I don't want to disturb the cat. And you might just feel a natural lifting up of the sternum so that you're no longer in this sort of I can't face the world state. So I hope that felt really great for you. Let me know if you have any questions, comments, or requests. Thanks so much for being here with me today.